Hello, this is James from Mode Lighting, and in this video we're going to cover Control 4 integration. So first things first, you need to download the drivers for Control 4 from Janus Technologies. So let's head over to their webpage. If you log in and register with Janus Technologies, you'll be able to download the latest versions. You can find this at janustechnology.co.uk. Okay, now that we've downloaded the software from Janus Technologies and we've actually added the drivers into Control 4, we need to go over to the side panel and find our drivers. So I'm going to go to the Search tab, and in this case I've selected the category of lighting and manufacturer of mode lighting, and that has brought up our eDin drivers here. And we'll start going through these. So first things first, we need to add the eDin comms driver. This is the driver that all the others will bind to actually get control. So we need to make sure this is working first. So at the moment we've got connection status as unknown, and that's because we haven't actually told it what IP address our MPU is on. So we can do that now. Down to the connections panel, find our eDin comms here, and I'm going to add that number in now. Please note that your IP address may differ from mine. Right, once I've added that in and go back to the Systems Design tab, we can now see that the eDin comms is showing up as status connected. If this is not coming up for any reason, you need to check your IP addresses and your network configuration before continuing. But in this case, everything is set up correctly. And now I'm going to take us through some of these drivers. So the simplest driver will be one that is just dealing with a dimming channel, whether this is from a 1 to 10 or from a mains dimmer. So we need to go to our eDin dimmer and add that in. And if I go through to the advanced properties page here, we can set what type of dimmer is involved and on what addresses. So I'm just going to quickly look back at my program. So for the driver to work correctly, you need to have done your setup in eDin Plus first, so that the modules are on the correct addresses. If this isn't set up, your feedback and things like that won't be working correctly. So in this case, I have a dimmer on address 4. I'm going to go back through to Control 4, and then I have an 8-channel dimmer on address 4 set, and then I want to control channel 1 set. And now if I double click the light, I can now see the properties: turn the light on, turn the light off, or raise and lower it, and this would be happening in real time. The next one on the list that we should cover is called the Eaton Switchdriver. This covers many of the same modules again, but allows you to set them up as only switched operations. So the channels that you put in here this time will only be switched. So again, I know I've got a dimmer on address 4, and in this case, my circuit 5 is a switched only circuit, so I do not wish to dim it. I can then hit set here, and then this time when I click in here on this light, it only has on or off options. There's no dimming possibility. Next one on the list is we have an eDin DALI driver. I'm going to select that now, and if I look in the advanced properties here, I know that I have one on address 7, which I can set. And then usually you do have broadcast here, but usually you'll be doing in group mode from DALI. So in this case I want to control channel 3, and then I set that, and then once that's done, we should see that the same options as we had for normal dimming channels are available here with full feedback. Next on the list is an eDin relay channel. This allows you to add in either a 2-channel or a 4-channel module and set the correct addresses to actually do the control of a circuit that is just on or off by nature, unlike the Eaton Switchdriver, which we used purely because we were trying to do switch channels on a module that could be dimmed. After that we have an eDin blind driver. Now this is set up so that there are 2 channels available in use for the blinds. The first channel is set up purely for power. This allows you to stop the motion of a blind, and the second one will just be the choice of direction. So in this case, usually you would have a 5 amp relay module, and I would set its address. So in this case I know it is address 6, and I know that my power is wired onto channel 1 and that my direction is on channel 2. And the standard blind wiring that tends to be used, I'm now showing on screen. Now that I go in to test this, we can see that we've got the usual sort of options. We can open and close the blinds, do a toggle or stop, and we can ramp if need be. This would all work as you would normally expect. An eDin keypad driver exists. This allows you to use it as a programming input into your Control4 program. You can also change the colour of buttons as if you needed to, etc. from your end. eDin sensor. This allows you to take some sort of a contact input from one of our modules, either an I/O module or the contact input modules, and use that as a trigger within Control4. And lastly, we have the eDin scene driver. This allows you to use one of the eDin scenes and control it like a light channel, or more usefully, trigger the scenes in general. Let's add that in now. We can see that there is a scene number here, and we need to go and get that from our program. I'm going back to eDin Plus, and then in this case I want it to control this DMX scene that I've made up. To find out that scene number, I hover over the top here, and in this case I can see it's $scene recall 37, so it's scene 37. I come back through into our Control4, pick 37, and hit set. Now that's set up correctly. Usually this is needed so that you can have the scenes that have already been set up in the MPU controlled from Control4. There are a few extra steps that are usually done. You usually set these up as advanced lighting scenes. So we go through to agents. In case you can see, I've set up one called DMX scene. If I click on this, and then I can add and remove loads. I'm going to add in that light. I'm going to add in the light scene for that DMX scene. I need it to go to a level of 100%. And now this would actually appear in the scene section within the Control4 remotes, etc. There's one last step that we would like to do, is that I would like to hide it as a light channel. So I'll go back through to system design, go to the room, find the navigator sections, and here under lights I would like to change this last one here. We can do modify here, and I can hide that particular device. And now it would only appear in the scene section correctly as DMX scene. It won't appear in the light section as a light channel, and that's just a little tidier. Thank you for watching this video on Control4 integration. Please subscribe to the channel.